All right, we've got lots to get through. So the logical place to start is the reigning premiers. Robbo, I want to throw this to you. 18 wins in the home and away season, phenomenal during the finals. What do they have to do to get to the next level? Because you can't win it again sitting still. No,
you can't. The first thing, and Brownie, you'll have to speak to this, the first thing you've got to look at with the team that's won the premiership is the hunger levels. Do they want to climb the mountain again? Everyone says, yes, we want to do it again. But is it really, to borrow a Ross Lynism, you can be hungry, but are you dog hungry to get up? You've won 3 in a row. You've won 3 in a row? Yeah, 3 in a row. So you know the challenges of Geelong. When I look at the Geelong team, I'm not worrying about last Thursday. Brisbane were fantastic in that practice game. Geelong had a style last year that opposition teams, Collingwood nearly got them, but opposition teams couldn't crack. What are they, 15 in a row, 16 in a row?
Yeah, last loss was round 9 against St Kilda last year.
So they've got a system. Don't worry about the players. They've got a system that is the best in the competition as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad Scotty made that. Well, everyone's obviously glad if you're a Geelong supporter. Scotty made some alteration to that game style. I wonder if Steve Hocking had some input there. Steve Hocking, obviously the engineer of the new rules in the AFL.
Chris Scott, I know this for a fact, finds it offensive that people say Steve Hocking had a lot to do with it.
No,
the football department, led by Chris Scott, changed the way they played, which was, let's go forward.
Absolutely.
Let's go forward.
And it would have been through discussions as well. There's smart guys down there. Chris Scott, one of the smartest coaches in the AFL. You know what Chris Scott does? We talk about the bottom 5 or 6 all the time. You know what Chris Scott does better than any other coach in the competition? He gets the best out of his best players. He exploits their strengths. Like, look at the blitz halves. He's created a role for blitz halves. What he's done with Tom Stewart, what he's done with the Jeremy Cameron, the licence he gives them.
Mitch Duncan, Cam Guthrie, go through them all.
So the reason you win big games, we get fixated on the bottom 5. No. To win the big games consistently, you need your best players playing well on the biggest stage. And Chris Scott doesn't sit on his hands. If he's got his best players struggling in a game, he'll do something to get them into the game, so they have an influence on the game.
But they had to. Speaking specifically about the offensive change to their game, they had to.
Yeah, because they did.
Because they were so boring and they were so easy to defend. They had to then challenge the oppositions by getting players back and then being more of an offensive game. The biggest challenge with a side that has been up and around premierships and finals is the first half of the season, because you know you'll be there at the back end. You know that that's going to happen. How can you bank enough wins in the early part of the season, couple that with one of the greatest players / captains we've ever seen, so you've got that emotional void that you have to fill, and Paddy Dangerfield doesn't have to be Joel Selwood. He's got to lead in his own way. So there is some change within that football club, but they've got an abundance of experience that you would think would be able to cope for it. But the hardest part about being a successful side year on year is the first part of the season.
The recruits were really good, Sarah. They picked up a couple of handy players who will probably go in the starting 18.
And that's important to help the list stay hungry.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to talk about that hunger element.
So what are they watching for, George, on the hunger element? So what are the tiny little things, the 1%ers that you as a leader, that Patrick Dangerfield, that Tommy Stewart should be looking for to make sure if they're missing those, it can cause a snowball effect from it?
Yeah, we won't see it. It is a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, so little things like players come in and do their monitoring. Are players doing their monitoring as sharp as they would if they were a team building up with less experience? Are they turning up to massages on time? Are they? So all these little things that happen behind the scenes
tick them off,
show signs of complacency. We will see a little bit on field, but that is not where you really see the guts of it. It's all off field.
I think it's more dangerous with a younger side or a side like Melbourne last year to maybe switch off a little bit. These older players, they've got about 10 blokes, 30+ years of age. They're still hungry because you want to maximise at the end of your career.
We will find out.
Might be the easiest one of all of the sides to do our predictions, but there we go. Top four premiers.
Yeah, I think they'll go back to back.
Yep, they'll certainly be up and around the mark. Top 4 gives them a chance.